We wish you a good morning. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, and we wish you a good morning. We just wanted to listen to the song a little bit longer and clap and tap dance. We were tap dancing, weren't we, Melody?
Good morning,
we were.
Melody. Good morning, listeners.
Good morning.
I like listening to that song.
I do too. I'm going to have to sit down and watch the movie again. It's got some great things in that movie. Great. I think the one where they're just introducing the talkie and the beautiful actress who can't talk. she's pushing her to. I don't know. Pushing's not the right word, but she's bringing her pearls up and down and up and down, and they're making a terrible noise in the microphone. And she's upset with the man, and she's supposed to say, "I can't stand it," and she says, "I can't stand it." I'm trying to think of that when I listen to Congress and all the things they're doing. I'm going, I can't stand it. The American people. Okay, we've lost all the listeners now.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand it. We need our pearls to go up and down. I don't have any of those. Oh, well. Yeah, we got to watch that movie again. Anyway, it's crazy what they're doing there. They're going to come up with a new budget. I'm going to tell you what. Have you been listening to the budget stuff or watching any of that?
Absolutely, I have, and it's
you had been.
It's just, you got to be kidding me. And I heard a comment that what's his name, Varney from Fox this morning. I was watching some financial news, and he was on. He says, "Well, it says his budget. It's like in a year we're going to be $1 trillion. We're going to have $1 trillion deficit." And he says and everybody says, "Well, you know what? It doesn't seem to matter that we have this much debt. Everything just keeps going and going." And he says, "Well, you know what?" He says, "Debt doesn't matter until it does." And,
oh, wow.
So profound, such an insightful thing. But anyway,
that's really
so deep. And but I mean, to some degree, but to some degree, I mean, he really, and it's true, but I mean, we're to the point where it does matter. And with that,
it always mattered. It always mattered. It's growing to be that monster that you can't hide it anymore because you can't get it out the door. Well, the conservative representative, go ahead.
You no longer control the debt. The debt controls you. And I think we're going to have higher interest rates. And you know what? With those higher rates, with that debt, comes people. A lot of them will move their cash in the stock market to the banks. Now that they're getting a little bit higher return at the banks, what do you think that's going to do to the stock markets? The stock markets are destined to go down to, I think, it's at 25, 24 now. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 10, and you're going to see gold prices meet. I remember when I first got in the business, Beth, we always said that, just not us, but, a lot of analysts and so forth were talking about how the Dow would go to 3,000 and gold would meet it at 3,000. They would cross at 3,000. But the Dow wasn't 24,000, and we didn't have the debt that we have today. So I'm saying you're going to see the Dow at 10,000, and you're going to see gold at those levels. They're going to cross somewhere. I'll say they'll cross somewhere between 5 and 10. And we certainly have experienced the 6,000 level once before. And to say we won't do that again and have gold there, absolutely. No one could change my mind about that. And so we're in for some dangerous monetary systemic collapses here. And I think it's going to happen this year. You just can't there's no optimism when you're $1 trillion when you have $1 trillion deficit on top of the debt that we already have. So,
and some of them are not on board. At least they're not on board in front of the cameras. The conservative representative Mo Brooks, he's a Republican, and he says he's not just a no, he's a heck no. I'm fixing that so we don't say bad words on the air. He said it's a heck no. And he goes on, and he and several of the other conservatives are not going to vote for it. And I had to laugh at this. And with my little left hand, I wore a question mark, and I said, really? He says, I just never thought that Speaker Ryan, with his history and his background in budget issues and his concern with the debt and deficit issue, I just never thought that this would be something that the Congress would put forward. I thought, seriously, you really thought that Ryan was a conservative fiscally? They speak it, but they don't live it. I mean, they don't. And what they do with our money, I have an article here. They just take the money and they spend. Now this is several pages here. I think I've got like 4 pages. Obviously, I can't share all that. But this is an exclusive peek. It's coming from the Daily Caller into Elizabeth Warren's luxurious CFPB headquarters. Now, the CFPB headquarters is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And, of course, they had to remodel, you know. And McIlvaney said it didn't need remodeled, but they did it anyway because they already had it approved, I guess, prior to. And they spent bukus of dollars, and it's better than any high-end hotel that the president owns. And it goes on and on and on at the things that they put in it and what they've done, and it's a ridiculous spending. I'm trying to find just one of the numbers in here. $124 million spent to date for the 303,000 square foot office building is $409 per square foot, which is more than the Trump World Tower, which the cost there was only $334 per square foot. Or the Las Vegas hotel that he has, which was only $330 per square foot, which those are luxury hotels. Those are luxury buildings. This is supposed to be a building to protect consumers. So they take tax dollars and they throw it away into this luxury building. And I mean literally just all the things here that they've mentioned. The agency budgeted $329,000 to overhaul the plaza. That's not dollars. That's not thousands. To overhaul the plaza, excluding the ice skating rink. Instead, the CFPB planners included 2 water features and a shallow pool. And then one of the water features will capture rainwater for reclamation. It's all a bunch of hooey, what they have spent on this thing. And I guess that's just the water part is the $329,000, which I can't believe it didn't cost a lot more than that. But it's just unreal what they spend. And then we go back and they're going to put this spending bill in place. It doesn't include the things the president wanted, but it includes a whole lot more. Schumer said it includes what the American people wanted. When did they figure out what the American people wanted?
Yeah, truly. And but Trump did say he would sign off on it. And but yeah, the thing of it, the thing of it is, you see the amount of increase in debt and so forth, and Ryan is panting to get to the entitlements. So what better way to push people to make entitlements a priority than to increase the debt to the levels of, of Mars. So it's, so, you kind of like why, and it's for the military, for, what weren't we supposed to be bringing troops home and kind of, budgeting a little bit better and so forth?
If you got along okay the year before, do you really need to increase the budget? The problem is they've never really approved a budget. They just keep adding to it and extending. They never really approve a budget that's a budget. They just keep approving more spending. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm probably not making sense, but you know what I'm saying.
They have to keep spending in order to keep the system going. So there's no checks and balances. And, hey, if you had a free unlimited checkbook, wouldn't you be out there just writing checks all day long. But, it again...
Can't be out of money. I still have checks.
You go back to the problems of D.C., the lobbyists, and everybody wants a deal, and that's what happens when you cut deals. You can't cut spending when you cut deals. And the problem with the budget is the amount of spending is we had the tax cuts, so revenue is going to drop. Revenue is not going to be balanced out with new jobs and a bigger tax base. And so it just won't happen. And, I shouldn't say it won't happen. It'll maybe a little bit, but not to sustain the path that they're on, and not just here, but everywhere else. Economies anymore. This is the stock market. Hey, we're having a great economy. The stock market's up to 26,000. Really? What are the fundamentals? And no one asks these questions. No one talks about these things. And they're only now that the markets seem to settle down a little bit. Now they're beginning to talk about it on various programs, but I can't remember in all my years of doing this when you had this type of trading and volatility. It used to be the lead story 24/7. And now the story is Donald Trump 24/7.
And Russia.
And
Russia.
From all the mainstream media. So I mean, it's like it's bizarre. And again, that to me, that's a sign that they're desperate. They're desperate to keep the system we're that close. And I think these are all the signs that tell us that. You had the jobless claims drop to a 45-year low today. Those are Americans filing for unemployment benefits. Unexpectedly fell last week. But it's been hovering about down 43-year lows in the past, 5 years. So they tacked on another couple of years. So to me, it's not really that big of a deal, but sounds good. We certainly have low unemployment, but the key thing is it doesn't matter what the unemployment is. It matters what the wages are. And are people still working 2 jobs in order to make their ends meet, or 3 jobs to make their ends meet, because they can't find one job that pays well enough to work one job. So it's so things are certainly distorted. Things are certainly and
in many cases Americans are no different than the Congress. We're not willing to give up anything either.
No.
We don't want to give up our microwave life. Where we could cut back on this and on that. That's when I think of a budget. That's what I think of. And the budget here, the budget that they are talking about. When I was saying, if you did okay with the numbers in this particular department, then don't increase it. But they just keep increasing the spending, and of course I guess they have to because of the entitlements and inflation, but it just never seems to end. And they have held the military. They always bring this out. They always bring the military, and they haven't said anything about Medicare as much in this time around. But that's what they usually do. They bring those out and use them as hostage and try to scare everybody. But there's a lot of them here saying the American people need to tell them, don't you dare pass this budget. But they're going to pass it. Even the ones that are complaining, they may not vote for it, but it's going to pass.
You're right.
One way, shape, or form, it's going to pass.
Yeah, they always use the Defense Department. If they don't use it to scare you to death thinking about our military, they'll bring up the veterans.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's always something
that
to
way.
hold hostage. Always holding the hostage. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody Beth Ann in the morning. The number to call is 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. And Melody and Beth Ann, we'll be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a reestablished Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
Our talks with Melody and Beth in the morning. I have a little funny story. And then we can move back to the finances. This is something, I've been going home because I've been in quite a bit of pain, and I don't take any pain medicine until I lay down. So I've been going home in the middle of the afternoon and resting, and while I was resting yesterday, my phone goes off, and it's my youngest son sending me an article from Bolivar, Missouri. And it's got a little video with it, which I can't show you on the radio, but it's got a little video with it, and it's this horse, this pony, and the dog jumps on the pony's back, and the pony gives the doggy a ride. So it says Bolivar literally has their own dog and pony show, and it goes viral on YouTube because somebody took a video of it. I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, it was really cute. You'll have to YouTube it and look at it. It's really kind of cute. The little doggy is one of those dogs that has hardly any legs. He's got really, really short legs, and he gets up on this little step stool and this little area where he jumps onto the horse then. And the horse is just a pony, so he's not terribly big either, but it's really kind of a hysterical. But right here in the state of Missouri, we have our own little dog and pony show down in Bolivar, Missouri.
Did Missouri have some sort of primaries Did Missouri have some sort of primaries yesterday or something?
I don't think so. It's coming up here in a few weeks, I think.
All right.
I'm not sure on the date on that.
I just saw someone reporting something that it seemed like a lot of the areas that are beginning to show more Democrats and so forth, and I didn't know what I thought. Well, did they have a primary? I thought it was awfully early, but
we don't have one yet. we had some special elections last year. I was trying to think who it was, and she won, and they'll be running against each other again then in November. So that'll be coming up, but nothing right this minute.
Well, it really is
amazing. I missed it. Go ahead.
Prior to the program, we were talking about Pelosi and how she did her 8 hours, her House filibuster, her little speech in defense and protecting the people here illegally in the U.S., the DACA. And, she brought in all kinds of things. I mean, she's quoted left and right and so forth. She said, maybe I should bring my rosary blessed by the Pope, His Holiness, Pope Francis, or the one before that, Benedict. I have the honor and privilege of receiving rosaries blessed by several popes in my lifetime.
She didn't hear your joke yesterday, did she?
No, she didn't. Or maybe she did. Or maybe she did.
Oh, great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And she even talks about her grandson, I believe, I don't know, her grandchild. And
to identify as a different color skin.
Yes. And, it's 8 hours of that. Who in the heck would have sat there for 8 hours and listened?
See, during the break, I was defending her because Melody has been making fun of her for being in high heels for those 8 hours.
They're all a bunch of hypocrites. She's saying that she has a rosary blessed by the Pope, but yet,
she's all about killing babies.
She's all about killing babies, and it's just, they just sacrifice the unborn, and it's just. It is truly amazing that they just cannot see, or they do, but they have their own agenda for their own reasons and so forth. And I get that, the big picture. But, it's, it's not them. It's the people who surround them and think that this is all proper, that they think there's various degrees of illegal. No, illegal is illegal.
A lie is a lie.
Yeah. And it is, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but anyway, it's, she needs to go.
Well,
and
here in a little bit, I do want to address the issue of her grandson. I do want to address that. We've got a caller from Illinois. We have Michael. Michael, how are you today?
Oh, I did not see that.
Doing well here. My wife and I love listening to both of you every morning. We enjoy the take that you have, the truthful take on the news, and we have actually listened to you on shortwave for many years. With your cohort, I can't remember who it was. He used to be with you on shortwave, and years ago. But we really enjoy your program. And also was wondering what the movie is that you were talking about this morning that went with the song, the Good Time, Good Morning song.
Sing it in the rain.
Oh, okay.
Sing it in the rain with Debbie Reynolds and Gene Kelly and Don. I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name. Oh, bless his heart. He's the best one in the movie, really. He does a scene where it's make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, and he does a dance scene there that's just hysterical. It's a great movie.
Great. Well, we enjoyed watching the older movies because really, honestly, that's about all there is out there that's decent anymore. It's hard to even find a decent movie, and that's one of them.
And Debbie Reynolds recently passed away, and she did not know how to dance before that movie. She had to learn how to dance for that movie. She was very, very young. I want to say she was 19. She was very, very young in that movie, and she had to learn to dance to do the movie. That's when the actors and actresses actually had talent.
Well, true.
It's Donald O'Connor.
That's it, Donald O'Connor.
And
he
that
is fantastic.
The original release date on that was 1952. And the budget on that was $2.5 million. That was a big budget. That was a big budget in 1952. And it is a great movie.
It's classic. You're not going to see anybody remake that one. It is a classic.
Yes.
So that's something to do this weekend, Michael, is get that movie and watch it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did you have anything else?
I can't think of anything right now, but we really enjoy the uplifting that we get from your program every day. And we listen to a variety of programs, but we really enjoy yours the most right now.
Well, thank you.
Well,
what kind things to say? God bless you. God bless you. And but it's always good to hear feedback on what we're doing. Because I'll tell you what,
sometimes we have too much fun and we get concerned about that.
I know. But we do think, and it's always good to hear the feedback, because I'll tell you,
absolutely,
you do 2 shows. Yesterday I had 3 shows, and I get tired. I was very tired this morning.
You did get,
it's like I don't think I can talk anymore. I talk all day. I run a business. I do the shows. Shows are difficult to do, so it is very encouraging to hear folks say what he just said. And I'm not one to pat myself on the back, so it's good to hear someone.
Thank you, Michael. Well, it is, and it's good. We do try to keep it light, and sometimes we worry about that because we do keep it light, and sometimes we just think maybe we have a little too much fun. I remember when we first started, we were just really serious, and we were just concerned that we had to have something every single second and minute of the show, and we had all kinds of news piled up in front of us. At least that's how I pictured it there for you, Melody. And we were just really concerned about getting through it all. But I think we have to have some levity along with the seriousness. We have to, the American people have to realize they really are the ones in charge, and the reason a lot of this has happened is because we have shirked our duties. And we have to have fun, and those old movies are just something to have fun with, and can't stand it.
Well,
oh, great.
We've been on shortwave for 20, and this program is only broadcast on shortwave. I do believe WWCR does do it online. Eventually, I'd like to get a little website. Eventually, I'd like to get a little website to where, folks could go to the site to listen to the program online, because shortwave gets a little difficult every once in a while and so forth. But I've been on shortwave since 1995, and this is a different program. I don't remember, and you can't listen to shortwave 24/7, so there was probably a lot of programs out there that I didn't listen to, so maybe there were some others, but you're right, we're bringing a little levity to the seriousness of the news, and it shouldn't take away from that. And it is different, and I enjoy doing these programs, and I truly do. On the financial survival program, we do at 4:00 Eastern time, and I think he was thinking of Bob Chapman. It's serious stuff, because it does involve your money. And that's what we talk about, a way to protect your money. This program is supported by that program. So, there is serious items, there is serious problems we have that we, along with the levity, we want to bring you that issue, that part too. So you can get protected and you can help yourselves. But I enjoy this program. I hope we can continue it. And I hope we do bring something a little bit different.
We try to bring it something a little different, and you were saying you hadn't heard anything like that. When she came to me and we talked about it, we said, well, there's never been. They have it on TV, but on radio, there'd never really been 2 female hosts. There's been male and female, and there's been 2 male hosts, but 2 female hosts that have hosted radio. Talk radio like we've been trying to do here, and it's not been a year yet. We're on show number 128 right now, and February 19th, by the way, Melody, I'm going to hit show number 1776 with CSE Talk Radio, so I'm pretty excited about that. and kind of encouraged my listeners to join on board with that. And but we are here for serious reasons, but we do try to have a little levity and keep it light. And it's like I said, and I know I've told this story 100 times, when my house burned down and we go there and we're looking at it, my husband and I, and here's the dog dragging around this black ball. And it happens to be the Christmas turkey that burned up in the freezer. And my husband starts laughing. He goes, and he's thinking, she burned it again, which is not true. I never burned the turkey. But you have to laugh at things or you'll just go nuts. I mean, I'm crimping around and I'm really having to deal with a lot of challenges with this broken arm. And I'm not the first person, nor will I be the last, to have a broken arm. I'm extremely right-handed, and so I have complained a lot, but I've made the joke about, because I did, and I'm promoting this, people. I'm promoting everybody join square dancing. I love it. It's great exercise. It's a good social life. But I did take a fall, and it was my fault, not anybody else's. I did take a fall, hit directly on my elbow bone. And that's what's broke. And I go to see the doctor today, and I told my husband I want him to fix it, but don't touch me because it hurts. So I'm going to go today and get it looked at by the doctor. But I made the comment to my sister when I finally texted her and told her I'd broke my bone. And she said, how? She goes, square dancing with a question mark. I said, well, perhaps it was square dancing, but it looked more like break dancing. Some of them don't think it's funny, but I thought it was hysterical. But they're all worried about my little elbow, and I said it's going to be just fine. It's going to be fine.
It will be fine.
It will be fine. I'll probably be crying around 2:00 this afternoon when they're making me move it, but it's going to be fine. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Pelosi, real quick.
Yes, because I want to talk about the Dow is sliding another 200 points, and
okay.
So
I'll give you the rest of the show after that. Okay, Pelosi. If I mentioned
thank you.
Or the day,
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I know, I'm very generous.
Oh, gee.
I'm very generous with your money. I should run for Congress. Anyway.
Get out of my way.
Chris Matthews had made the comment that Pelosi was ethnic. So I'm looking up, all this information on how she's ethnic and relates to people of ethnicity, however you say that. And yesterday she talks about her grandson, who I guess he's not happy being white. And now she is of Italian descent. And he's not happy being white. He wants to identify as brown. And she says, I'm proud of him for this. And I'm thinking, these people are absolutely nuts. Parents can only do so much. But good parenting, you teach your child to understand who they are and be proud of who they are, to accept who they are, whether it's male, whether it's female, whether it's white, whether it's black, whether it's yellow, whether it's purple, pink, whatever the case may be. You help them adapt to be the very best they can be where they are. Whether you're poor, whether you're mid-class, whether you're rich, whether you're whatever color that God has made you to be, you teach them that God has made you this way. This is who you are. Be the best you can be at this. Not, well, I'm proud that he doesn't know who he is. But that's just crazy talk. But that's what liberals do. They have crazy logic, absolutely crazy logic. And it is not good for this nation. It is hurting this nation. It's breaking families apart. People don't know who they are. They think the world owes them a wedding cake. They think the world owes them everything instead of them having to adapt to the world. They think the world should adapt to them, and that's not going to make for a strong and prosperous nation ever. Okay, I'm done now.
Okay, are you sure? Oh, you're giving me my time?
No, I'm not sure. I'm giving you your time. All I asked for was one little moment.
But But it really is. It really is true. And I mean, well, no wonder the children are confused today.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at what is being pushed on them from, they can no longer. I mean, we've been saying this for 20 plus years. Children are no longer children anymore. They don't have the opportunity. They don't have the, they just can't be kids anymore. From the internet, from the programs, not only are they, the animated movies many a times, there's such adult content.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's just not Bugs Bunny anymore. And
where'd the Roadrunner go?
They bring in the sexual side. They bring in all of these issues that 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shouldn't be exposed to, except by how you're saying, Beth. It should be all about them and not about everybody else. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what type of adults they will be.
One movie my grandkids like to watch, and I do too. I like the movie. I think it's silly. It's fun. It's got great fun music in it. We get up and do a little dance when the dance part comes on and act silly, and that's Madagascar. I don't know if you've watched Madagascar, but it's got a giraffe on there, and the giraffe, he's kind of a hypochondriac, and it's got a zebra. He's wanting to go back to the wild. He thinks he misses the wild, and the lion, of course, he's the star of the show in the zoo, so he's happy where he is, and they end up going to Madagascar, and they are totally lost because they're not in the zoo being taken care of. There's also a hippopotamus, and then there's the famous penguins. The hippopotamus is a female, and the giraffe is a male. And the hippopotamus and the giraffe are in love. Well, in the real life, hippopotamuses and giraffes don't mate. But this is all, in my opinion, and maybe I'm putting too much into it, but this is all teaching the children that anything goes. Everything
Absolutely.
Is okay. And, it's not, of course, at least they are male and female. They have done at least that much so far. But they do implement the other, and they did that when they did when they remade, I'm trying to think of the one, Beauty and the Beast. However, you have to sit and watch these things with the kids, and, you have to kind of watch out for what they see, even in these movies. And a lot of things that they do, Melody, is make the woman out. The female is always out to be the strongest and the best. Mm-hmm. She's the one fighting the bad guys. I love the movie Mulan, but that's what that one did. Mm-hmm. She was a better fighter than the guys, and she was this and she was that. And, you have to watch what they do. So.
Well, I've been watching the notes, and I do want to talk about the markets. We're going to be heading into a break here. So let's first before the break, let's get to Joe from Arkansas. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Joe.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this business of how the leftists want us to think that there's something wrong with us now for we're white. And I want to talk about how I got over that problem. Like I've said before, I had a very left-wing upbringing, and I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I really admired the black kids. I thought they were just so cool, and I wished I could be like them. But then I started practicing yoga, and I found that I had the divine spirit in me. I had the Spirit of God, and through what I did and what I said, I could express some of the love and the wisdom and the power of God and bring some of the love and the wisdom and the power of God into the world through what I said and did. And that made me as good as anybody else. In fact, nobody, as far as I'm concerned now, does any good in this world, is of any value in this world, unless they express the love and the wisdom and the power of God that they have in them, in their speech and their actions. So everybody is equal in that respect. Everybody potentially does have the ability to bring more of the love and the wisdom and the power of God into this world by what they say and they do. And the people that are worthwhile are the ones that do that. And so that makes white people and black people and people of every color, just exactly equal to all the others, because they all potentially have that ability and that power to do that.
I agree. I mean, and it's, you know, it was interesting how you said that when you started out, saying they saw all the black kids were cool and you wanted to be like them, and they probably thought the same thing. Well, they may not have thought it. I don't know. They may not have thought us white kids were cool, but you know, everybody has something to bring to the basically to bring to the altar. We all have gifts that God has given us, regardless of our color, regardless of what our talents are. He's given each and every one of us a gift, and good parenting helps children realize that gift. We don't say, well, it's okay to be confused, that you think you'd rather be brown than white or yellow than white, or, you know, it's just a...
But I do believe that parenting today is a lot different than... Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm not a parent. But when I was a child growing up, we didn't have the influence that the children have today. And we didn't have... Most homes didn't have both parents working in order to supply and send the kids to school and college and everything else. So, you know, I think it is it is more difficult, and with them removing God out of the schools and that agenda, it makes it even more difficult. So we do live in a faster, busier life, and parents today have a lot more responsibility in teaching. Well, actually, all you have to do is take their children to church on Sundays. But you know,
they want to let children make that decision by themselves too. But they're not going to make that decision if you don't help them along. I left that
decision a little bit on my own. I didn't get baptized until much later in my life.
Till it was your decision.
Until it, yeah. My parents didn't baptize me. They baptized, my brother was baptized Catholic. But again, I was the youngest, and we were moving into a different time, and I wasn't baptized. So there was an important...
we were always in church. I know that. I grew up Methodist, and now I'm Baptist, and it's just, we were always there. Yeah. We're into a break, though. Joe, thank you so very much for your call. We're headed into a break. 717-300-1218 is the number to call, but I think we're going to have to turn it over to Melody. She has some things she needs to inform us, and we will be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased. It has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
Tom in Michigan. Tom, how are you doing today?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this stock market. How it's gone straight up for so long, and now there's a correction. You know, at a certain point, it dawned on me after the tax cuts were made known that that big corporate tax cut, that's got to go somewhere. That's, to me, the only way I can see it is it's money right on the top. It's like a cash infusion into the corporations. And I thought, well, the detail. At least I didn't know the details, beforehand. But I'm thinking, the big players, they must have known that this was coming. Otherwise, why would they bid it up so high, so fast? I'm looking at I'm getting an echo, but
yeah.
The plunge protection team, I just looked it up at Title 31, United States Code 5302, talks about the Exchange Stabilization Fund. I'm thinking they must have already had this tax bill written, and I know Trump in the debates, he said, well, we're going to be able to fill out our tax returns on a postcard, and that I don't think that's happening. But I don't know if you want to talk about that. I mean, the whole cash infusion into the corporations. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That people probably will get more jobs and more things made in the USA. But I guess now that they're going to have to find a certain level. But seems to me the Exchange Stabilization Fund and the big players are going to keep overplaying the market to where they're going to push it way up and then pull the rug out, things like that, to kind of pick the pockets of the investors.
The one thing that we always, and I have an echo too.
Tom needs to turn his radio down.
Okay. The one thing that we always forget is legislation is not written for the little guy, and campaigns are promises, and that's how people get elected. And again, I voted for Trump, and but I'm talking about all elections. I'm talking about legislation. It's not written for us. It's not written for the little guy out there. It's written and deals are made. That's what I've always had a problem with. I don't like D.C., Washington, my taxpayers being used to make deals. That's our whole problem. We have lobbyists. The biggest lobbyist was the Koch brothers for these tax reform. Oh, yeah. Now, when you have someone like that pushing $20 million here, $20 million there, do you really believe the tax cut and the reforms are for us? It's the same thing as Obamacare. Oh, it's for you. That's how they push it. That's how they sell people. That's how they manipulate people. And that's how they suck us in, thinking that, this is all going to be great. And even though there was half of the population who knew that the Obamacare wouldn't be beneficial, the other half wanted it and so forth. So we're just all the time being manipulated and thinking that these reforms and everything is great for us, and it isn't.
And
it's good for them.
The hypocrisy there with the Koch brothers is they were anti-Trumps. They were going after Trump. They were putting lots of money on the opposite end against Trump. And I have this from the Examiner about this.
But that wasn't my point, though. The point was that if the tax cuts were truly good, they wouldn't need to spend $40 million to try to promote it to us and make us accept it. Legislation is not for us. Sure, we'll get maybe some trickle down and so forth, and, everybody pats themselves on the back. D.C. hasn't changed. It's not going to change. It can't change. We hope it changes. We see some changes. To me, the biggest changes is our courts. Because maybe these people getting in there and the conservatives that are getting there in our federal court system and so forth, maybe they'll be able to keep our Constitution in line and keep the law and order that they're supposed to do in the future. That's a big, big deal. Nobody ever really talks about that stuff.
Well, my part with the hypocrisy of the Koch brothers is they were worried that Trump was going to cost them money, and then they're on board with this because this is going to mean money to them. So that's what my point was with them. You got to watch what they're up to. Follow the money. Always follow the money. And it says this deal doesn't have any it says this deal doesn't have everything Democrats want, but it doesn't have everything Republicans want. It also says that it includes the additional money for community health centers that were created under, guess where, Obamacare, and are running out of funding. So they're running out of money. Obamacare didn't work, and so now we're going to throw some more money at it.
Folks, they're going to be, and whose money is that? It's your money. You have the Dow dropping 300 points this morning, and I've been telling everybody, it's not out there about computer trading. It's not technology. It's not algorithms that are making the markets volatile. It's the 10-year note. It's now trading back up to 2.87. I says that's where it was when it began to crash the other day. That's what it's all about. It's all about our debt, and and people are falling for it. People are falling for their excuses and the blame game that they tout across mainstream media every day on the financial news programs. Half the analysis that you find on the internet are going to lie to you about it because they're all promoting their agenda. People who even talk about, it's just, I haven't ever seen so much confusion on what people should be doing, and of course that puts pressure on the one thing that I believe is going to keep people safe and sound in their finances, that will protect their purchasing power. That doesn't mean you're not going to have losses, but it will protect your purchasing power more than anything else, and that of course is going to be gold and silver. So, but no, they don't want you to be there. Heck no. Why would they want to help you? No. They need your tax dollars. And with rates, I said earlier today, with these rates rising, and if these markets are being spooked and you have these big declines, they pull the cash out. They either keep it in cash or they go to bonds, which is the worst place that you could put the money, but it's a big way to move money fast. Then that money comes in to gold and silver. So appreciate the lag time. There's always lag times with gold and silver, always. Unless of course there was a nuclear blast that went off, overnight, then you'd have a knee-jerk reaction to the gold prices. But when we see these types of markets, of the volatility and so forth, and even Trump said during his campaign, the markets are in the biggest bubble they've ever been, and they're going to crash. Mm-hmm. He was right. He was right.
Go way over and way under. I used to speculate in the markets. I made tens of thousands of dollars speculating, but I also lost tens of thousands of dollars. So, But one of the ways I lost a lot of money was chasing markets, and just from experience. And personally, I think they manipulate the markets that way. They're all kind of in the club. And they want the people to chase the market. You add to that people are forced into the casino because of inflation, if they want to have any savings, they have to find something other than pathetically low interest rates. There's just what the store of value is what we're talking about, and most people they're in 401ks and IRAs, and they're forced into the casino.
There was a report on here, and most people don't get that because they use different words. People don't understand, but they say the volatility funds that use leverage. Leverage is debt, and it's just, leverage, that's, they've just distorted how people view things. The only thing that made these markets go higher has been stimulus, quantitative easing. They quit quantitative easing No, they didn't. The Feds were buying bonds. If they had bonds that mature, they'd buy that. They'd go in and rebuy. It's offhanded stimulus. You have world markets that are feeding their economies through quantitative easing. It's all connected, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not for your benefit. So if you want to protect what you have, you got to get out of that paper. Get something tangible, get something real, get some real money, and that, of course, is gold and silver.
1-800-375-4188 is the number to call Melody, Discount Gold and Silver Trading. 1-800-375-4188. We are out of time today, Melody.
Yes, we are. I get all fired up because it's just, I know what they're doing, and it's just
we'll fire
propaganda.
We'll
have
fire
a
up some more tomorrow.
Good luck this afternoon. Prayers are with you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Visit crosstheborder.org, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host, Melody Cedarstrom, right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188.